Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching 8th part of What If Naruto and Hinata Were Kidnapped by Raikage. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Garden of Serenity, inside Demon Country's sacred temple. Lady Moroku, I brought Lady Shion here as you instructed. Taruho bowed deeply to Demon Country's high priestess, Moroku Akuma. Thank you, she said gratefully to the commander of the honor guard. Shion Akuma approached her mother and bowed. Good morning, mother. What brought you here? Moroku nodded and smiled. They were in the Holy Serenity Garden. The location was as vast and beautiful as the destroyed Holy Garden of the Uzumaki clan, but it was much larger and had a large pond. The garden was where Demon Country priestesses of all generations meditated and concentrated their powers. The young priestess knew why she was summoned here deep down, judging by her mother's formal priestess outfit and golden headpiece, and the impending crisis caused by recent events, particularly the incident at the Fire News Network studio she had just heard about. Moroku smiled at her daughter once more, a pang of regret in her heart. Shion possessed the same future-seeing ability that caused many people to avoid her out of fear, and she was unable to make friends. The mother wished for her daughter to have a normal and happy life, but it never came true. If things go well in the future, you might have some good friends and a happy life. Yes, and come with me. After all, you are my daughter and the next Demon Country High Priestess. I have some things I need to show you, the mother replied solemnly, and she began her walk towards the library for Wisdom Seeker, which was located at the far end of this garden. Shion and the 30 honor guards followed quietly. The Holy Garden was so large that it took the group 10 minutes to get to the library. Shion finally broke her silence. Mother, is this something to do with the impending war? Moroku came to a halt. She spun around to face her daughter. Did you also see it? Shion nodded and began to explain, but Moroku stopped her and the young girl paused. Taruho received a look from the high priestess that said, "Leave us alone." He and the other honor guards quietly bowed and exited. Tell me what you've seen, Moroku said, her tone authoritative. Before the lengthy explanation, the young blonde priestess took a deep breath. I saw too many ninjas fighting, first among themselves, then against an army of white monsters. Moroku nodded, seeing the same thing. Shion went on, one particular group piques my interest. There are 5 of them. The first is a red-haired girl who fights her enemies with chakra chains from her back. Then there's a couple. A pale-eyed, long-haired boy who fights with martial arts, and a red-haired girl who fights with a flute, daggers, and colorful languages. The 4th person resembles me, except she has indigo hair and is dressed in samurai armor. To protect her comrades and lover, she shoots arrows and mercilessly dispatches her enemies with blades. When the high priestess noticed her daughter's slight blush, she raised her brows. Lover? Yes, I could see the love in her eyes, the eyes that fought and were willing to die for her love. Her lover is clearly the most powerful warrior in the group, if not the entire world. The man fights so fast that I couldn't make out his face, but he has sunlight hair and some whisker marks on his face. I even noticed that he is surrounded by numerous enemies, but the majority of them, including those white monsters, cower in fear. He has a golden aura and is holding a sword and a shakuho. Behind him are the legendary tailed beasts, who fight alongside him. Moroku's eyes widened slightly. I didn't see that man in my vision, Shion? And what about Biju? And the staff? She made the decision to confirm it. A small drop of water from a leaf fell into the pond in front of Moroku and Shion. Shion murmured, "Ripple." Moroku looked beyond the word, the future had changed once more. The pond was full of drips and ripples that interacted with one another. It reminded her that events can alter the future. She had a premonition of her death in the battle against the awakened Morio demon when she was pregnant with Shion, and she accepted her fate to die to protect her precious daughter. However, when the Kyuubi incident occurred in Konoha 13 years ago, she no longer saw her battle against Morio, but rather the battle against the ancient evil, who was more powerful than Morio. Taruho and the rest of the honor guards rushed forward when the high priestess motioned to them. For the next 2 minutes, the group continued their journey. When they arrived at their destination, Moroku touched the security seal at the entrance, and the gates opened. The high priestess examined her security team. "Stay here, guards. My daughter and I are entering the library. We will return in an hour." Hi. The library was massive. Some of the books and scrolls were millennia old, and no one could read all of them in a lifetime. When Moroku led Shion there, she was surprised to find a hidden underground entrance. She had no idea there was underground in this library until now. She was taken aback by the inscriptions and beautiful drawings on the wall as she walked downstairs. Shion first saw a drawing of a man facing another man who wielded a large war fan and a dojutsu she recognized Mangekyo Sharingan. The Uchiha was fighting on the back of a massive 9-tailed fox. It had to be a one-sided fight with the Kyuubi no Kitsune on that Uchiha's side. Uchiha must be victorious, Shion stated. "No, my dear, it's the opposite." The young girl looked stunned, as if she couldn't believe it. That was the legendary Battle of Valley of the End, which took place over a half-century ago. It's a battle between Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, and Madara Uchiha. The battle lasted 3 days. The high priestess elaborated. Shion was even more taken aback. How did the Senju come out on top? It's impossible to defeat a Uchiha with Mangekyo Sharingan, let alone the Kyuubi. The fox was the most powerful of the legendary tailed beasts, with Mokuton and Senjutsu. Specifically the Oni demon Senjutsu. My grandmother, Amida, taught this sage art to the Senju, the high priestess elaborated. Your great-grandmother adored Hashirama and taught him the sage art that reawakened his Mokuton. Shion was taken aback by this revelation. My great-grandmother had feelings for the Shodai Hokage? Are we Senju clan descendants? No, Moroku said emphatically. We don't have any Senju ancestors. Grandmother Amida eventually came to despise Hashirama, not because he didn't reciprocate her love or because of his marriage to Mito Uzumaki, the Whirlpool Princess. The Demon Country High Priestess line, like the Nadeshiko Kunoichi village, was entirely female. To avoid inbreeding, Moroku and Shion never met their fathers until they were adults. Demon High Priestesses could not marry, but they could choose a consort to carry on the line. And who could say no to assisting a beautiful and noble priestess in carrying on her line? Moroku explained to Shion why Amida Akuma rejected Hashirama Senju as the father of her children. His enslavement of the tailed beasts destroyed grandmother Amida's trust, and his enslavement of the beasts disgusted her so much that she swore she would never see him again. She regretted teaching the first Hokage Senjutsu and stated that she is glad she did not teach him to reach the sage art's final stage 6 paths. The young priestess nodded quietly, and the two walked down the stone stairs without saying anything else. This underground has to be 6 levels deep. Shion was tired and frustrated by her lack of stamina. Walking from her private quarters to the library had already exhausted her. I swear I'll get Taruho to teach me how to increase my stamina. There were numerous drawings and inscriptions, all of which depicted fights between the Senju and Uchiha clans. They had arrived at the final basement level, and there was a long passage ahead of them. It has to be at least 200 meters long. Xian groaned on the inside. As she walked forward, the mother broke her silence. Prime Minister Raikage and his entire cabinet came here an hour ago for my advice on an international crisis. The world is on the verge of another great shinobi world war. Every nation government held an emergency meeting about it this morning, for the sake of the country's interests, and Demon Country was no exception. I told them, war, and I recommended that, for the sake of Demon Country and the world, we militarize our country, because otherwise, we will all perish. The cabinet took my advice, even though I didn't tell them the specifics. Xian was taken aback by this. Is the situation really that dire that Demon Country needs to militarize? Yes, because I saw everyone busy killing each other in the impending conflict, and there were dead bodies all over the place. Then, in front of everyone, a long-haired man wielding the legendary Rinnegan summoned a massive tree from the ground and devoured everyone and everything. People were entrapped by the tree vines, and some quickly turned into white monsters, which I believe you saw. The young priestess was terrified. Moroku couldn't blame her because she was the same way. My last sighting was of a female figure with horns. I am certain she is the rabbit goddess, the ancient evil that our forefathers warned us about, and she will reappearance in this conflict. The high priestess directed her attention to the final drawing in this underground chamber. The illustration depicted a female with 2 long horns and an eye in her brow, hovering above the world with open arms and an evil smile. In her early priestess training, Akuma had learned about the legend of the evil rabbit goddess. She knelt in desperation, her eyes watering. She's returning, and the world is doomed. There is nothing we can do. The high priestess supported her successor, kissed her on the cheek, and smiled encouragingly at her. We can, however, do something about it. Honey, there is always hope. You predicted a different future. Is that the staff you envisioned? Xian looked at what her mother had pointed out, 9 broken pieces of a shakuho monk staff on a wooden table. She carefully selected the 6 rings, and to her surprise, each ring radiated a slight purple color when she touched it. The shakuho is made of a more advanced and unknown chakra metal, and it reacts to people with chakra, Moroku explained, noting that her daughter's chakra and eye color matched. Xian then took the 3 broken shafts one at a time. She looked at the first one before moving on to the second. Yes, I did see this Vajra in my vision. Ouch. Xian yelped as the bottom tip of the 3rd shaft cut her right thumb and index finger. She realized the tip was a spear. Moroku, much to the surprise of the young blonde priestess, began to heal her cut fingers with medical ninjutsu. She gave her mother a nod. I saw a man impaling several white monsters with the end of a staff. Is this the shakuho I saw in my dream? But it's broken, how come? The high priestess happily hugged her. Yes. There is still hope. You must have seen the hero of the light. Light's champion, yes. Our ancestors prophesied that one day, a warrior, led by an Oni high priestess, would rise and reclaim this staff, bringing light in our darkest hours. The high priestess then pondered whether she or Xian would guide the destined hero, and she had a vision. Moroku was living a peaceful retired life, tending to the Garden of Serenity. Taruho, who was in his early 40s and had a goatee beard, approached her and respectfully bowed. Ladies Moroku, Xian, and Kushina. Grandmaaa. A little redhead girl tackled Moroku and clung to her like a monkey. The ex-demon country high priestess laughed and hugged her beautiful. With a sly grin, the little girl hugged her back. Tell me more about how your parents defeated the rabbit goddess. Kusanada Hime. Behave. What happened to the way I taught you? Shion rushed over to them and chastised her daughter. She cast an intimidating glare at Kusanada Hime, who hid behind her grandmother. It's okay, the grandmother said, ruffling the little girl's lovely long red hair. Moroku looked at Shion, who was dressed in a crown and formal high priestess outfit, and was proud that her daughter had grown up to be a very beautiful woman, a good mother, and a beloved demon country high priestess for her role in the Great War against the rabbit goddess. The former high priestess then looked at her granddaughter Kusanada Hime, who was dressed in a standard priestess outfit and reminded her of herself in her youth. Despite Shion's protests, Moroku always lavished sweets on her granddaughter. The little girl was adorable. She had the Akuma family's violet eyes and 2 whisker marks on each cheek. Like her half-brothers and Fath. Mother? You are having a vision? Shion interrupted the high priestess. Yes, and it's a good one. Moroku smiled once more, vowing to do everything in her power to make that future a reality. The hero must ascend. 10:30, September 1st, Konoha War Chamber, Hokage Tower Sublevel 3. General Hayama Shirakumo of the North Garrison. Over 6,000 Kumo ninjas led by Dodai, Darui, and Teroi launched a surprise attack on our position. Over 300 people were killed and 100 were critically injured. We are holding the line, but we urgently require reinforcement. The Kanabi Bridge has been completely overrun by the Iwa Gravemaker and his forces, and this is Special Jonin Hana in Izuka. We've returned to Point X. General Kosuke Maruboshi and 30 ninjas remain to protect us. Over 700 people have been killed, over 200 have been critically injured, and another 400 have been seriously injured and require immediate medical attention. The number of fighting men available has been reduced to 600. The Hattori managed to drop clay bombs from several kilometers above the ground, destroying our main formation. We don't know how, and he personally killed Special Jonin-ko Hyuga by blowing up his head to prevent him from discovering the secret. Our sensors confirmed that all of the rear guards were Kia, and they are now pursuing us. Now I must maintain radio silence. Request reinforcement right away. Yakumo Karama trembled and wished for her knight in shining green spandex. Rock Lee had joined her. Unfortunately, this war chamber could only hold the Konoha leadership, Jonins, clan heads, and their heirs. Tsunade Senju, the Godem Hokage, sat on the chairman's seat, elbows on the conference table, hands in front of her mouth, and a grim expression on her face. In a single day, 1,000 Konoha ninja lives were claimed. She wondered if it was karma for Iwa losing over 1,000 ninjas in a matter of minutes 15 years before. The situation was dreadful. The Chunin exam finals would be held in 2 days, and many people had already arrived in the village to compete. It's too late to cancel the event. Many wealthy customers and nobles have already arrived in the village. Konoha needed their financial assistance to fight the conflicts right away. The 5th Hokage looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi, an advisor sitting on her right side, who was crying. It's all my fault, Hiruzen mumbled quietly. Kosuke and many others would have lived if I hadn't revealed Naruto's ancestry. Even the former advisors Homura and Kaharu, who were sitting on their Jonin seats above, were deeply saddened by the death of their old friend. What has been done is done, sensei. We must now turn our attention to the future. Tsunade handed her sensei some tissues, which he gratefully accepted and wiped away his tears. Thank you very much. I will do everything I can to help you with the war effort. Hiruzen explained. Naruto is the ninja we most need. I can't tell him about Kosuke's relationship with him for fear of distracting him. Sume, the clan head of the Inuzuka clan and the commander of the Hunter Division, had done her best to remain calm, but everyone could tell she was worried about her daughter's situation. Kiba sat behind his mother, unable to control his emotions and his eyes welling up. He frequently argued with his sister, even going so far as to call her a bitch, but he still loved her. The Inuzuka mother and son hugged each other, hoping Hana would survive. Sasuke Uchiha sympathized with his teammate, rising from his seat behind his mother's and placing his left hand on Inuzuka's shoulder in silent support. "Thank you," Kiba sniffled. Among the Jonins, there were murmurs. How did the Hattori launch bombs from such great heights? The Gravemaker blew up Ko's head so completely that even a Yamanaka couldn't figure out his secrets. Only the Konoha leadership, clan heads, and Jonins were permitted to enter the war chamber. Clan scions also came to see and learn from their parents during important meetings. Special Jonins, with the exception of the Hokage Guard platoon, were unable to attend the war council because they needed to return to their mobilization stations to brief their subordinates. Ko, he can't be dead. Sniffle * no. Hanabi Hyuga began to sob quietly. She had been trained and hardened by the main branch Hyuga elders, but she was deeply saddened and terrified that her fellow clansmen had been brutally murdered. The elders of the Hyuga clan were retired Jonins, and they brought the little girl to the war chamber to demonstrate her status as the true clan heiress and superior to her long-lost but returned elder sister. They saw Ko's death as a victory because the slain Hyuga was one of the Haishi's few loyal main house supporters, while the majority of main house members supported Hideo Hyuga. The Leaf Clan heads, village elders, and some Jonins were aware of the recent unspoken conflict in the Hyuga main house between Haishi's loyalists and Hideo's traditionalists, which had been caused by a certain blonde Uzumaki. The fifth Hokage, Hitomi and Hiashi, Hinata, and others were irritated by the Hyuga elders' political maneuvering. The 7-year-old girl was too young to understand the horrors of war. Hiruzen and Asuma believed they had done the right thing by not bringing Konohamaru into the chamber. Hinata stood up from her seat and gently hugged her younger sister. Hiashi and Hitomi rose from their seats and approached their children. "Everything will be fine, Hanabi." Hinata hugged her little sister tighter, and Hanabi hugged back, much to the chagrin of the Hyuga elders. "My little sister, I'm here for you. Our parents and I will be there to keep you safe." Hinata's words soothed her sister, and their parents hugged both of their daughters. "Nothing will tear our family apart," Hiashi and Hitomi agreed. Hanabi smiled, and Hinata and their parents did as well. "I'll always be here for you," Hinata added as she paused, turning to give her lover a concerned look. She was expecting a frown from Naruto, but instead he gave her a reassuring smile. The Konoha War Chamber, like the Neo Combines, was an amphitheater with a large circle table in the bottom middle section. On the large table sat the Hokage, her advisors, and ninja counselors. Hiruzen Sarutobi, Makoto Uchiha, and Shibi Aburame sat on the right side of the Hokage, while Jiraiya, Hitomi Hyuga, and Shikaku Nara sat on the left. The other counselors were set back from the Hokage. The Hokage Guard platoon, retired special Jonins and above, Hinoka, Tayuya, and Fu sat in the higher seats. "I will give those damn Hyuga elders, as well as Hanabi's parents, a piece of my mind, and I'm sure Naruto will send them a message as well." Tsunade reflected as she looked at the person sitting directly across from her at the table, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, the head of the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans. The newly promoted elite Jonin turned his chair around to face the Hyuga elders and narrowed his eyes at their smug expressions. His nose twitched as he looked uneasy, and his right fingernails popped up into switchblade claws. Many people were startled. The claws were over 15 centimeters long and terrified the elders, including High Elder Hideo Hyuga. "Now I understand why Naruto loves to use terror tactics in Kumo, Wave," Those ex-counselors, his Jonin exam here. To make people not fuck with him, Tsunade realized. If the situation had not been so dire, the slug Sanin and many others would have been amused when the Kyuubi Jinchuriki casually picked his nose in front of the elders. The claw coming out of the boy's nose had a large booger on it. Wow. It's enormous. The young Jonin made a surprised face and blew it away with his mouth. When the booger floated and landed just a few centimeters in front of the Hyuga elder's feet, the Godem Hokage suppressed her laughter. Must be his wind chakra, Tsunade joked. She's glad she had her hands on her mouth. No one could see her smile, especially the Hyuga traditionalists. Hinata didn't sit next to the Hyuga clan head, but she did sit next to Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, who sat directly across from the Hokage. The young elite Jonin clearly held more power than ninja counselors and clan heads, including the Hyuga and Uchiha. The Hyuga elders were enraged, and even Hideo appeared to be offended. The Hyuga High Elder managed to keep his scowl at bay. Let's see who has the last laugh when the Fire Daimyo and Fire Crown Prince arrive at the exam finals. You're going to bend the knee. Danzo had stated that the Fire Heir apparent would personally visit Konoha, presumably to compel the heir of Whirlpool to swear allegiance to the Fire Throne. Konoha and the Hyuga traditionalists would benefit from the Kyuubi brat's actions. But Hideo and his friends were terrified when they saw red slitted eyes in the blonde's clawed right hand. Naruto's attempts on Jiraiya's groin were still fresh in his mind. If you fuck with me, I'll claw your cocks off. Tsunade coughed to put an end to the conflict between Naruto and the Hyuga elders, drawing everyone's attention. She stood up when she realized everyone was staring at her. Time is of the essence. We'll send out Kakashi and Asuma's battle groups. Shizune, take 2 medic companies and accompany Kakashi's battle group west. Asuma, you bring a medic company with you to your battle group to assist the northern garrison. Hi. Shizune, Kakashi, and Asuma, as well as their battalion commanders Guy and Kurenai, stood up. The Hokage turned to face her former teammate. You 4 will accompany Kakashi's battle group, Jiraiya, Tsume, Shibi, and Hazashi. Everyone, including the Toad Sanin, stood up and nodded. Once we secure the western garrison force, you 4, along with Kakashi and Guy, form a hunter-killer team. I want that Gravemaker dead. Said the Hokage. Hi. Tsume Inuzuka, Shibi Aburame, Hazashi Hyuga, Kakashi Hataki, and Guy Maeda all nodded in agreement. Yes, Haim, Jiraiya said as he took his order. Lady Hokage. Hiashi Hyuga stood up, looking at Tsunade with a "why don't you assign me" expression. Tsunade held up her hand. Hiashi, you should stay with your family. Hinata has just returned home. As a result, I've assigned your twin brother to take your place. Isn't family the most important thing to you? Yes, Lady Hokage, Hiashi said, nodding and bowing slightly to Tsunade. Guy, your battalion will be the vanguard, Kakashi Hataki told the commander of Battalion M. You must now deploy your unit within an hour. Yosh. The Konoha's sublime green beast obeyed his eternal rival's command and dashed to the chamber exit. Your battalion, Kurenai Yuhi, will be the first to launch for the northern border. Despite Asuma and Kurenai's relationship, the general addressed his Battalion Y commander with authority. Hi. After receiving her order, the Genjutsu mistress quickly left the chamber to prepare her battalion as well. Makoto Uchiha confronted her former teacher and expressed concern. Lady Hokage, the Crimson Contingency, cancels everyone's leave, but Konoha still has roughly 10,000 ninjas left to protect the village despite the deployment of 2 entire battle groups. I propose that we recall all of our ninjas on missions, except those with a rank or higher. This will increase the size of our home guard to over 10,000. The 5th Hokage agreed with a nod. Yes. Counselor Makoto, thank you for your advice. We will also mobilize reserve forces. We rotate through 3 shifts per day, and I want everyone on duty and alert on exam finals day. If I may, Godem Hokage, Naruto raised his voice, and the Hokage gave him a standing ovation. The blonde turned to face the Konoha spymaster. Shingen Hattori's attack is not sanctioned by the Hidden Rock Village or the Earth Country, Jiraiya. True, and in fact, the families of the girls you rescued lifted the bounty on your head. They even convinced their friends to remove the bounties. They advocated for peace with Konoha in order to fight Kumo. You did an excellent job, my boy. There were murmurs in the room, and everyone was impressed by the blonde's accomplishment. Peace with Iwa had seemed unattainable, but Naruto had made it possible. Jiraiya's cheerful smile became a little lecherous, but no one noticed. Thank you, the whiskered blonde said, nodding. Onoki's army is on the eastern coast of Earth Country, preparing to invade Lightning Country, and is too far away to reach Shingen Hattori. However, Hinata can write a letter to Kuratsuchi, Sayuri, and their fathers, the Yondaime Tsuchikage and the Iwa Jonin leader, requesting that an army be sent to deal with the Gravemaker. We can capture his army. Tsunade finished her nephew's sentence, and finish him off before we deal with Kumo. Not to mention the fence-sitter's army on Earth's east coast, which can exert pressure on the Cloud Village. Exactly, and I believe Kitsuchi and Gari will gladly comply because they, too, want to have a talk with the Cloud Village about their daughter's kidnapping. Hinata will require the services of an S-priority messenger hawk. Granted, the slug Sanin replied quickly, and Naruto and Hinata nodded in agreement. The blonde turned to face the Hyuga elders with a smirk, which irritated them even more. Shikaku, I need you to find Suna Jonin, whose team is competing in the exam finals. In the next hour, I'll speak with him about the war against Kumo. After all, he is the 4th Kage's son. The Jonin leader was approached by the 5th Hokage. She then turned to face the Hokage guard platoon. Genma Shiranui, Reito Namiyashi, and Hayate Gecko. The 3 special Jonins got out of their seats. I want you 3 to speed up Naruto's Hiraishin training. The Flying Thunder God technique has the potential to be our trump card in this war, so I want you to devote your entire time to training, except when you eat, drink, dump, leak, or sleep. Anbu Cat will provide your meals and necessities, and Hiraishin training will begin following the deployment of the battle group. You will take a break tomorrow night for the exam finals and then resume your training. Hi. Naruto and the rest of the platoon rose from their seats and bowed to the Hokage. He leaned back in his seat. Thanks to Great-Grandpa Tobarama's scrolls, including his version of the Hiraishin, which are still intact. Many people sighed in relief, but his face remained grim. My father, on the other hand, is completely different. I believe he had his Hiraishin improvement notes on his scrolls. If I had those scrolls, the Gravemaker would be dead by lunchtime today. I swear the thief will pay dearly for that. Naruto slammed the conference table with his right fist in frustration as he finished his statement. Hisashi Hyuga flinched slightly in response to Naruto's threat, but no one else noticed except his benefactor. Please, Naruto, relax. We still have options. Hinata hugged her fiancé softly from behind. Naruto felt at ease and hopeful because of her warmth and love. Your father was a middle B-class seal master on the Uzumaki seal arts, while you were a higher class seal master. You can use Nidaime's Hiraishin as a template to make your own version that differs from your father's. This should be much easier to accomplish. My love, I believe you. The brunette whispered something into Naruto's ear, her hands covering her mouth so no one could read her lips, and the blonde blushed briefly before regaining his usual calm. Thank you, Hime, Naruto said, taking her hands and placing them on his cheeks. His blue eyes were now filled with determination and fire. The world will soon witness the arrival of a second yellow flash. Tsunade sneezed. Now for something more urgent. We need to figure out how Gravemaker launched his bombs from high altitude, some kind of super artillery. And we need a solution to deal with it. Everyone was so preoccupied with the topic that no one noticed Danzo Shimura was concerned. Without Hazashi, my Hiraishin squad is rendered ineffective. I must devise an alternative. After 10 minutes. Naruto was one of the last to leave the war chamber after the meeting ended. He was leaving after speaking with the Hokage. A hand touched the blonde's shoulder. What do you want, Jiraiya? Naruto asked irritably, not turning his head to face his godfather. Auntie Tsunade wants me to be present at her deployment speech to boost Konoha morale, then I'll be heading back to the Hyuga compound to prepare for training. This isn't about the Nyote Mori, boy. Who do you think I am? Jiraiya mock-hurtly asked. His tone changed to solemn. We have far more pressing matters, my deployment with Kakashi's battle group, and your Hiraishin training. The Nyote Mori, of course, has been postponed until that Gravemaker is dead, so we need to talk about something else. Yeah, Naruto agreed, disappointed that this Nyote Mori had been postponed. No, not because he wanted to eat sushi and sashimi from a naked beautiful woman. Too bad I can't deal with Danzo right now. Jiraiya knew when to shut up, seeing the boy reeking of killing intent and having witnessed his prowess firsthand, and quickly hid his pencil and notebook, unless he had a unique wish. Konoha Hokage Tower Balcony, 1200, 30 minutes later. Kakashi Hataki's jaw dropped slightly due to his mask, but his fellow battle group General Asuma Sarutobi dropped his cigarette at the sight of Battalion M. All ninjas under Guy's command wore green jumpsuits and orange-striped leg warmers, even the special Jonins. How come Guy's special Jonins also wore the suits? Kakashi was terrified. I thought he was kidding when he said everyone in his battalion would dress like him. Asuma had the same idea. It's all Naruto's fault. Guy was inspired by his lean and mean speech to the K-15 platoon on the return party. Kurenai's Battalion Y stood alongside Guy's in front of the Hokage Tower at the Konoha Forum. The ninjas of Battalions M and Y, along with the three medic companies, formed the vanguards of Kakashi's and Asuma's battle groups. The other 8 battalions were also present. Each of a battle group's 5 battalions launched at a half-hour interval. The entire deployment of 10,000 ninjas would take 3 hours. The forum was packed with spectators, including off-duty ninjas, civilian villagers, and, most importantly, customers who had traveled to Konoha for the exam finals. The magnificent parade of over 10,000 ninjas at the forum awed the VIPs and nobles. When the 5th Hokage and the son of the Yellow Flash appeared in their midst, all ninjas stood to attention. Tsunade Senju spoke with Charka as she looked at them. Konoha ninjas. Time is of the essence, so I keep it brief. War is ugly, pain, destruction, and death, but I am sending you to battles anyway, and I want you all to know this. You fight not for the village or glory, but for our comrades. They are out there and need your assistance. I assign you all the mission to bring them home. Naruto Namikaze unsheathed his katana and held it high without saying anything after Tsunade finished her sentence. Everyone in Kakashi and Asuma's battle groups was filled with rage. The entire 10,000 ninjas roared and held their weapons high, thundering the village. The scene impressed the customers even more. To everyone's surprise, the entire Battalion M saluted their Hokage, General Kakashi, and Naruto with the guy trademark nice guy pose, thumbs up, and a combined flash from their teeth as bright as the sun. "Come on, you apes!" Asuma Sarutobi yelled as she leapt from the Hokage Tower balcony, racing to the northern gate alongside Kurenai Yuhi. "You want to live forever?" Battalion Y roared again and quickly followed their commanders. Kakashi directed his lightning cutter towards the western gate in order not to lose Asuma. "Let's go save our friends and kick Juggernaut." Yosh. Kakashi, Guy, and Battalion M charged west, followed by Shizune and her 2 medic companies and Sum and her hunter teams. Everyone stood there watching the vanguards leave. Among the crowd was a small group. A bespectacled gray-haired male and a light blue-haired female in green dress lead Orochimaru's spy team. They had never been on good terms, but this was the first time they smiled and nodded to each other. Hyuga Compound, 1300. Inside Hazashi's house, his son Neji and daughter Aoi were watching him pack for the S-rank mission. Aoi's eyes welled up. The Iwa Gravemaker was well known. His fight with Hanzo the Salamander, his involvement in the Uzushio campaign, and the Ninja World Wars 2 and 3 were all mentioned in Konoha textbooks. Aoi almost cried when Hazashi told his children that he'd been assigned to the hunter-killer team on the last Hattori, and Neji was terrified. Their mother was fighting against Kumo invaders in the northern garrison. Now their father was on his way to confront the infamous Iwa Gravemaker. They were afraid of being orphaned. "Daddy, you have to come home safe. We can't lose you." Aoi hugged her father tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks. Hazashi knelt and kissed his daughter's swollen brow. "Don't be concerned, my little hollyhock. Everything will be fine." "It's so unfair," Neji said, arms folded and angry. "The Inuzuka and Aburame clan heads are assigned to this team, but why is Lord Hiyashi not?" "Don't question the Hokage, Shunin Neji," Hazashi said sternly to his son. "It can't be helped. Lord Hiyashi and Lady Hitomi just had a family reunion. They missed 10 years with their firstborn. In fact, you should look beneath the surface and be pleased. The Hokage recognizes me and my brother as equals, and it's honorable to be assigned to that prestigious hunter-killer team. I'll bring more honor to our branch house." Neji's lips curled into a smile. His father unexpectedly grabbed his arms and looked him in the eyes. "However, if something were to happen to me, you open my desk's right bottom drawer. There's a security seal, and you or Aoi can open it with a drop of your blood. The drawer contains my research journal and 3 red scrolls." "Research? For what, Daddy?" Aoi inquired. "Research something. Something that could bring you both freedom, my children. I can't tell you what it is right now because it's for your own safety." The siblings nodded in agreement. "And Neji, do you like that Tayuya girl?" Hazashi inquired, causing Neji to blush slightly. Aoi began to laugh. "Brother Neji is having dinner with Sister Tayuya tonight, but don't worry, Lady Hitomi has invited me to dinner at her home." Hazashi appeared surprised at first, then smiled. "Really? Neji, you must win her heart. She is a good girl and a good kunoichi, and she will bring you and Aoi freedom." Neji couldn't believe his father's words. Whoa. Isn't it too soon to start talking about marriage? We are 14 years old and had lunch just yesterday. What on earth is father thinking? And why does father believe Tayuya can set us free? You have to do everything you can to make her fall in love with you. If you can't, try that Hinoka girl, do you understand? Hazashi gazed into his son's eyes, waiting for an affirmative response. What? There were too many questions about his father's secrets and those red-haired girls for Neji to answer, but he could only nod and say, yes. Hazashi embraced his children once more. Everything I've done is for you too. Hokage Office, 1330. Thank you for coming, Gara Sabaku, Tsunade Senju said to Suna Jonin, who sat across from her. This Suna elite Jonin was the Yondaime Kage's youngest child, the Ichibi's Jinchuriki, and Icha Tanuki, the protagonist of Jiraiya's most recent smut novel. All three of his students, Matsuri, Yukata, and Ameno, would compete in the exam finals. Gara gave a nod. You're welcome, and I was about to request an audience with you on behalf of the Kage. Tsunade arched her brow. Oh? When the sirens went off this morning, I sent a message back to my village, and I received a response saying that the Hidden Sand Village will gladly honor the alliance with Konoha by sending expedition forces, which I believe is why you wanted to meet with me, right? Yes, Tsunade said flatly, without hesitation. Kumo and a rogue Iwa faction attacked us without provocation, and Konoha needs every alliance and help she can get. War is ugly, and I'm afraid Suna will lose some of their ninjas. Gara admired the Hokage's candor. We may lose some of our people, but if we don't end the conflict as soon as possible, more lives will be lost. He frowned deeply at the fact that his father and the majority of the Sand Counselors were excited about the potential war with Kumo because it would show off Suna's strength to their fat-ass Wind Daimyo, increasing his mission demands to Suna. Ninja villages could not exist in the absence of conflict. The Hidden Sand Village will send a battalion to assist Kakashi's battle group, Gara announced. And after the exam, I will personally lead 2 wind-specialized battalions to assist Asuma Sarutobi. Tsunade stood up and shook hands with the Sand Jonin. Thank you. I will convey to the Kage that Konoha greatly appreciates Suna's assistance. Additionally, as the conflicts escalate, the Kage can bring 6 bodyguards to Konoha for his personal safety. And I hope to meet him at the exam finals so we can discuss the conflicts further. Yes, as well as the Icha series. The Kage also wishes to discuss another Icha story in the Hidden Sand Village with Lord Jiraiya. Tsunade's sweat evaporated. She couldn't believe her pervert teammate's smuts could be so valuable to Suna. She would bet her annual salary that Rasa would also be visiting the Leaf Village to negotiate a film deal for the recently published Icha Tanuki. Uchiha Compound, 1500. Sasuke Uchiha, the leader of the Uchiha Corps, shot 30 training dummies with his AK-16 crossbow and his 3 Tomo Sharingan spinning. Less than 10 seconds. Daisuke checked his watch. Wow, brother Sasuke. All bullseyes. Exclaimed Miki Uchiha. Heart or head? Awesome. Brother Sasuke. Exclaimed Rei and the other Uchihas of their big brother. HN. Grunted Sasuke as he dropped the spent cartridge scroll beneath his crossbow. He quickly loaded a new cartridge and began shooting the slain dummies in the crotch, as Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze had taught him. Every Uchiha child dropped their jaw, and some boys instinctively wrapped their hands around their family jewels. I'm going to kill you all. Kumo scum, don't fuck with my clan people. Sasuke cursed silently as he gazed at the dummies, his imagined Kumo foes who would come to rape his mother and the other Uchiha females. Kumo was attacking the Konoha northern garrison. He was terrified when he saw his clan people enslaved by those power-hungry assholes. You want to take my clan over my dead body? Isn't it a little excessive, brother Sasuke? Daisuke asked, his hands still clutching his family jewels. No, Sasuke replied calmly. It's a terror strategy taught to me by my commander, Naruto Namikaze. Many Uchiha children inquired, terror strategy? It strikes fear into the heart of the enemy, teaching them to think twice or 3 times before messing with us. It discourages enemy attempting to cause you trouble or harm your precious people. You all remember the Konoha forum 3 weeks ago, right? That's a great example. The Uchiha Corps fell silent, and some of them paled as they remembered seeing several heads on spikes in the forum. Those heads belonged to those who were responsible for the Namikaze Hyuga incident. The children had heard their elders say that it was also to remind civilians not to interfere with the ninja business and undermine the Hokage's authority. Daisuke broke the silence after a few seconds. Wow. Naruto is awesome and an ultimate badass. I swear on my dead family that when I graduate from the academy, I will join the K-15 platoon. Why? Mickey inquired. Of course, to bring more honor to our clan, and to get early access to an AK-16 crossbow and shoot that monster Itachi. Me too, exclaimed every Uchiha child. Hearing this, Sasuke frowned slightly, but no one noticed. On that night, he finally learned the truth from his mother. Initially, he refused to believe it, claiming that his father had planned a coup until Mikoto presented Fugaku's coup plan and several Uchiha seniors admitted to being involved in the coup attempt. When he knew and accepted the truth about the massacre, no one could understand his anguish. This must be kept secret for the sake of the clan, and Itachi must continue to be known as the infamous Uchiha Butcher for the rest of his life. Isn't the AK-16 prohibited in the exam? Rei Uchiha inquired of Sasuke. Why are you training with it now? Shouldn't you be preparing for your exam finals? You'll win. Yeah, exclaimed the other Uchiha. The exam doesn't matter to me. I'm training for the war now, Sasuke replied to his clan cousin. I'll be deployed shortly after the exam with my platoon. Why is it forbidden in the exam? Mickey inquired. Because the AK-16 is a secret individual weapon issued by Konoha for warfare, and the weapon belongs to Konoha, not me, Sasuke replied. The entire Leaf leadership wants to keep it secret for the element of surprise. There are a lot of spectators at the exam finals arena, and Konoha doesn't want her secret revealed. Do you want to know why the AK-16 was created? Someone asked from behind. Everyone turned to look at Izumi Uchiha. Some of the kids nodded. I was there when the Kyuubi attacked the village 13 years ago, and I saw that many ninjas died trying to get close to the Kyuubi no Kitsune for a shot, and most of them were killed without firing a jutsu or an explosive kunai. Those who did manage to get close enough to the fox only fired a shot before being killed. Lady Tsunade said it was a stupid waste of human lives and concluded that. The Uchiha children silently nodded once more. Sasuke and Izumi exchanged glances and nodded. It was best not to go into detail about the Kyuubi's attack and the Namikaze Hyuga incident, which served as the impetus for the Uchiha's attempted coup. It was best not to reveal this secret to the clan's best. What has been done is done. What we can do now is for the future, Mikoto told Sasuke and Izumi, as well as the Uzumaki clan. The matriarch of the Uchiha clan revealed a daring plan to them. The Uchiha clan would support Naruto's Neo Uzushio in exchange for a favor, a secret asylum for Itachi. It bothered Sasuke that his brother would have to remain an S-rank wanted criminal and a villain in world history so that the Uchiha clan could live with honor and freedom. Sasuke turned to face Izumi. He was aware that she adored his brother and would do anything for Itachi. The Uchiha heir recognized the young lady as his future sister-in-law. We'll bring Itachi home, and he'll deserve a happy life with you, says the narrator. Izumi looked at the Konoha wall, her Itachi standing outside with a slew of dangerous S-ranked ninja criminals. Yes, Itachi, we will bring you home, and I will be strong to do so. Training Ground 7, 1600. Clear. There is no one here. Everything is fine. Thanks, girls. Fu said to her shadow clones, who had ensured that no one could intrude on her privacy. Now double-check your battery seals, Chome reminded. And the Predator stealth seal. The teal-haired girl quickly examined her palms and the bottoms of her ninja sandals. Her wind chakra was concentrated in the battery seals. Checked. Fu exclaimed, these seals having been given to her by her Jinchuriki brother. She vanished when she touched the Predator seal on her chest. Her palms and sandals had not completely vanished, but there were faint green light glows where they used to be. Now start the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7. Fu made sure her palms were facing the ground. Every second, the glows became slightly brighter. 0. The massive wind chakra released by the seals of the Nanabi Jinchuriki propelled her into the sky. No one in the village noticed her skyrocketing with the Predator seal. She held her hands up with a tag on each, allowing her to bypass the Konoha firewall and continue to rocket into the sky. Woohoo! Now activate the armor! Exclaimed Chome. The Nanabi noticed that they were no longer accelerating as they approached the clouds. The Jinchuriki dropped the red blanket behind her back, revealing 2 wings, before making several hand gestures and shouting. Nanabi wind armor. Aerial mode. 2 large Charka arms emerged from Fu's back, though they were neither as large nor as powerful as Naruto's. The Charka arms swung backward, releasing a massive amount of wind chakra. She could fly better and faster with this and her wings. Wow, my flying ability has improved so much. She was perfectly capable of flying inverted for 2 minutes. She was content. The flight had given her a sense of freedom and accomplishment. She looked at the Konoha walls, which had over 300 super trebuchets and 100 super ballista. They were more powerful than the garrisons in the west and north. Konoha was impenetrable and would not fall with all of these super artilleries combined with the firewall seal defense array. Hello, Mr. Choza. Fu knew the Akamichi clan head wouldn't notice her in stealth mode, but she greeted him anyway because he treated her well. The Akamichi was the commander of the home division, and he was training with a group of his clansmen known as the Titan Squad. It was so named because they all used the super multi-size technique, which transformed them into giants. Some were practicing with massive spiked staffs, while others were throwing boulders. Fu mistook them for walking super trebuchets. She noticed a flock of birds. It was strange because a hawk was trailed by smaller birds like pigeons and sparrows. She examined the birds' left legs closely and noticed small tags with leaf symbols. Fu realized, they're Yamanaka's mind-controlled birds. She remembered Ino telling her she would have special recon training with her clansmen. This had to be the training the Yamanaka blonde mentioned. Konoha needed to learn the Iwa Gravemaker's secret. Hey! Which of you is Ino? There was no response, and the flock continued to ignore her questions. I didn't know that pig could fly. She exclaimed loudly, employing Sakura's favorite jab on their blonde companion. A tick mark appeared on a sparrow, and it glared at Fu. Haruno household, 1800. I'm home. Sakura exclaimed tiredly as she removed her sandals and entered the dining room. She was more interested in eating and sleeping than in taking a shower. Welcome back! Exclaimed Mebuki. "How's your training going today, dear?" she asked, holding a plate of large medium-rare steak. Her daughter was a kunoichi, and she needed all the nutrients she could get. Sakura felt sick when she saw the slightly pink meat, so she put her right hand on her mouth and dashed to the bathroom. "What happened, darling?" the Haruno mother wondered as she saw her daughter puking in the toilet. Sakura's mother handed her 2 tissues after she finished puking. "Thank you, Mom. I was in the morgue doing my advanced combat medic training this afternoon." Sakura wiped her mouth with a tissue. "I dissected a corpse today, and the steak reminds me of that body. I guess I'll be a vegetarian for a while. I need to do my medic and kunoichi duty." Mebuki hugged her precious daughter tightly, not wanting to lose her. When Naruto's existence as the son of the Yellow Flash was revealed to the world 13 years ago, war seemed imminent. In conflicts, ninja was a dangerous career, and war is an ugly business. Families torn apart, homelessness, starvation, disease, rape, and death were all common occurrences. Mebuki might welcome Sakura becoming a kunoichi if it was a peaceful time. She despised Sakura's sister-in-law, a former civilian counselor who had persuaded her to pursue a kunoichi career for petty reasons. Mebuki and Kazashi were shocked a few days ago when they saw heads on spikes in the Konoha Forum. One of them was Kazashi's older sister, former civilian counselor Sakiri Haruno. Those found responsible for the Namikaze Hyuga incident were executed. Their heads served as a harsh reminder to the villagers that Konoha was a ninja village that would not be bullied by civilians. Many people suspected Naruto Namikaze was behind it all. Kazashi wept over his sister's brutal death, but Mebuki had no sympathy for her sister-in-law because of what she had done to the Hyuga heiress and endangered Sakura during the diet exercise. What was done, and she needed to give her daughter the courage she needed to survive the impending war. Mebuki kissed her daughter on the cheek. "I know you're strong, my little cherry blossom, and I'm confident you'll make me and Daddy proud as a kunoichi." Sakura returned her mother's hug. "Thank you, Mom. I promise to make you both proud." 1900, near a hot spring in Konoha. "Where are you? Where are you?" muttered a white-haired self-styled super pervert, searching for someone inside his telescope. There were mists all over the place. He noticed a group of young naked women bathing in the open space. He usually fixed his gaze on them for half an hour, but he shifted his gaze away. "Where are you, my boy?" Jiraiya asked, laughing pervertedly. There was some drool coming from his mouth. Nothing could escape his spy ear when someone said in hushed tones, and he had heard Hinata whisper to Naruto, "Hot spring tonight," during the meeting. Now he found his godson and fiancé having a sexy time in this expensive hot spring, and this research would make another good Icha Icha book and make him richer. "Are you looking for me?" asked Shadow Clone White, who appeared in his line of sight. "Wah!" exclaimed the Toad Sanin, nearly falling on his ass. "How could I have missed him? Aren't you supposed to be with Kakashi's battle group hours ago?" said the Shadow Clone, folding his arms and mocking the Sanin. "And what on earth are you doing here?" Naruto stationed sentry here because he was aware he was being watched by a Konoha asshole elder named Danzo, but he had no idea Jiraiya would invade his privacy at this time. White was aware that the Sanin could return to Konoha via the Toad Portal, and that he could do so by reverse summoning a toad. But this peeping action. The Shadow Clone knew his godfather would be extremely disappointed. He should abandon him. "Give me a good reason why I shouldn't chop off your cock, Jiraiya." Wind claws appeared on both of White's arms. Jiraiya gulped as twin long serrated wind blades appeared on each arm. "Well, I'd like to inform you that our forces have located the Western Garrison survivors, and Shizune has set up a field hospital to treat the critically wounded. Tomorrow morning, me and the rest of the hunter-killer team will set out to find the Gravemaker. White established contact with Kurama, who would relay the information to Naruto. Well, that's good news, but nice try, said someone. What the? 3 kunai shot at the Sannin, one of them nearly hitting his crotch if he hadn't dodged it. The glue Fuinjutsu activated the 3 kunai. Jiraiya was in the center of a triangle with inscriptions formed by the 3 kunai. He found himself immobile. A person appeared in front of him. "Gray!" exclaimed White. "You know he's here for that so-called research. Just get rid of him and save your time," Gray told White, before turning to Jiraiya with a sadistic smile. With a sadist smile, the Kage Bunshin walked behind Jiraiya's back, wielding an Uzumaki katana. "Oh, I'm going to finish what I started this morning." "Shit. He's going to thrust that sword into my groin." Jiraiya was perspiring profusely. "Please, mercy." "I'm showing you mercy. Only 5 centimeters, and this is only a warning," Gray said, gripping his sword tightly. "Boss wants me to send you a message. If I catch you peeping again, I will personally make you a eunuch." The shadow clone shoved his sword without mercy into the super pervert's ass, just like he did to the Kumo doctors. "Aw!" Jiraiya screamed, his face filled with pain, and a satisfied smile appeared on the shadow clone's face. Poof! The toad sage turned into smoke. The smoke dissipated after a few seconds. Gray and White exclaimed, "Shadow clone!" Jiraiya must have left this shadow clone before heading west, White surmised. "Hey Gray, didn't boss do the same thing 3 years ago when he went to Uzushio and you hunted Raiga Kurasuke?" Clever bastard, so he could still carry out his hunter-killer mission while doing this side mission in the village. Gray snatched Jiraiya's telescope and shattered it. "Fuck you, Jiraiya. Reminisce what the boss said. The next time I catch you peeping, I will chop your dick off." In the hot spring, the female section erupted with applause and cheers. "Wonderful words, Lord Naruto. Thank you. We're all right. Our privacy is protected. Thank you, Lord Naruto. No peeping. The pervert will never look at us again." "Oh, I know what the ladies like," Naruto reflected, smiling. "And I know exactly what Hinata enjoys." Naruto Namikaze was sitting on a stone seat inside a hot spring, relaxing his muscles as his love, Hinata Hyuga, rode wildly on his shaft. The blonde was clutching the brunette's ass and licking her right nipple. In this position, her walls were very tight, and every up and down put them both on cloud 9. Naruto and Hinata were having sex inside an opulent and exclusive VIP hot spring. For more than 30 minutes, no one could hear Hinata and Naruto's moans because of the privacy seals. "I am coming," screamed Hinata, and Naruto could feel her walls tighten, causing his dick to squeeze out its juice. "Me too," Naruto exclaimed, grabbing her D-cupped breasts. When she felt her love's seeds fill inside her, the Hyuga screamed even louder. For a few seconds, they panted and looked each other in the eyes. Their eyes were filled with love, and they kissed deeply, tongue to tongue. "I love you," they both said, kissing again. Hinata Hyuga, Hinoka, and Tayuya would compete in the Chunin exam finals to earn their Chunin ranks. Following the exam, the K-15 platoon would be sent against Kumo. Hinata knew why. The Hokages didn't want Naruto deployed in the west because he would attract the dreaded Iwa Gravemaker. Because of his father, Naruto had many powerful enemies. I will strengthen myself to protect you and stand by your side as we face your enemies together. Because I care about you, Naruto. Naruto didn't care about facing Kumo and that Raikage again, but Hinata did. He made a secret promise to Hinata while they were kissing naked in their hot spring. I know Kumo haunts you deeply for what they tried to do to you, and you don't want to face them again because you're afraid of being captured. But I will do everything in my power to ensure that this never happens again. Because I love you, Hinata. Whatever fate threw at them, they would persevere and triumph. Whirlpool Strait, 2200, connects Fire Country and its Whirlpool Province. The personal dragon transport for Neo Combine Supreme Commander, Orochi 1, along with a dozen other dragons and their buzzard escorts, were rapidly approaching the destroyed Uzushiogakure no Sato, which served as the Neo Ground Combine's headquarters and rallying point for the invasion, which was set to begin in less than 30 hours. General, we'll be in Uzushio in 20 minutes, Sky Special Jonin and Neo Combine Amaru's medical leader Amaru told the VIP passenger on this transport, Shingen, Gravemaker, Hattori. Everyone on the carryall could feel the carryall begin to descend from the clouds. Amaru tried her hardest, but she couldn't help but notice the general's missing right arm and left leg. The last Hattori didn't mind her stare and remained silent as he gazed out at the sea. When word reached Anchor Vanshin that Konoha General Kosuke Miruboshi had died with a bang, Supreme Commander Orochimaru immediately dispatched her, Karen Uzumaki, and the other best medics to save the Gravemaker on the fastest dragon carryall transports, as the Snake Sanin required the Gravemaker's juggernaut army and 10,000-strong mercenaries. The Kusa leader Kazuo suggested sending the Uzumaki girl to heal the Gravemaker. Amaru anticipated that the grass leader would demand additional favors and concessions. Her assessment of the Kusa leader was, greedy bastard. Many Iwa juggernauts were killed by Kosuke's explosion, and Shingen was critically injured. The injured rock ninjas were quickly transported to the hidden grass village by the Sky Dragons who bombed the Konoha force until Amaru and Karen arrived. The Sky Kunoichi felt sorry for the Uzumaki girl who aided in the healing of the Iwa ninjas with her body. When those teeth dug deep into her skin, Karen would feel violated. The poor Uzumaki girl was sitting quietly in the back of the carryall. The Uzumaki girl's face was stained with tears. The last Hattori spat out the window as the dragons flew over Kumo's Turtle Island in a fleet of small well-disguised fishing boats, making it clear to everyone that he didn't like the hidden cloud village that stole his target and instead made the boy powerful. Your chakra metal prosthetic arm and leg are being prepared at the ground headquarters as we speak. Your ability will not be hampered by the best technology Sky and Snow countries have to offer, Amaru explained. Shingen turned around, disbelievingly looking at the Sky Kunoichi. Snow country? Finally, Dodo Kazuhana agrees to join the Neo Combine? Amaru curtly nodded. Yes, sir, the attacks this morning convinced him that we will be victorious in the war against Konoha, and his hidden snow village 5,000 ninjas will be under Lord Orochimaru's direct command on the left front, bringing our invasion forces to over 60,000. Shingen returned his gaze to the sea. Amaru wasn't lying when he said that 4 airships bearing Yukigakure symbols were approaching Uzushio. I suppose he's looking for his niece? The Sky Special Jonin nodded once more. Yes, sir, Konoha may have information on her whereabouts. After all, they rescued her during Dodo's coup, and the Neo Combine has enough manpower and resources to find her. When Shingen saw the main island of Whirlpool, he saw 4 Sky aircraft carriers and their 8 escort destroyers anchored at the rebuilt seaport. Neo Combine had enough funds to construct another aircraft carrier and 2 destroyers. People were busy loading supply crates onto ships at the seaport. Shingen Hattori first came to Whirlpool during the Uzushio campaign, and it was during this campaign that he received his famous facial scar. He was conflicted about returning to this ghost village. Isn't it ironic that an ex-Leaf ninja led this combine to see his village burned, and the combine's archenemy village had become our secret base? He wondered aloud, and no one responded. The destroyed Uzushio was no longer what he remembered from decades ago. The Neo Combine had rebuilt it as a base and rallying point for the invasion and world dominance. It was now night, but the base was still lit. Shingen witnessed thousands of tents and barracks, as well as hundreds of dojos and factories. There were large administration buildings and even an air traffic control tower, as well as over 500 dragons parked here, enough to bring at least 10,000 soldiers in a wave. As the dragons prepared to land, one of Shingen's commanders inquired as to what he saw.
What are they up to?
Hundreds of sound ninjas were seen jumping out of 30 dragons 200 meters above several mock-up buildings. Air assault practice for the invasion, Amaru replied. They witnessed several sound genins scream and crash to the ground. No. Dosu. Zaku, no. Screamed a female. Medics. They made no response and simply let Dosu Kinuta, Zaku Abumi, and the others die. It was a cruel world. Genins were used as pawns and cannon fodder, and the higher-ups didn't care if they died. No one on the Orochi one spoke until Shingen broke his silence. Did Konoha take the bait? I even left 100 juggernauts to pursue the fleeing Konoha force, and the attacks on both Leaf garrisons should have diverted their attention. The Sky Kunoichi's face lit up with a smile. Yes, sir. Our spies confirmed that over 10,000 Konoha ninjas left the village to reinforce both garrisons, including many of their elite jonins like Jiraiya, Kakashi Hatake, Asuma Sarutobi, and Guy Maeda. We have confirmed that Naruto Namikaze stays in the village, and we believe he's training for Hiraishin. We must kill him before he masters it. The Iwa Gravemaker smiled warmly at the Sky Kunoichi, clearly appreciating this information and sentiment. He was only interested in the offspring of the cursed Yellow Butcher. In my experience, it takes 5 times the manpower to overrun a well-defended place, the Iwa general lectured the young Kunoichi. I think we need more edge, even though we outnumber Konoha 6-1, judging by what happened at the Kanabi Bridge today. Tell me, you the Sky Marshal's right-hand woman, can the Sky aircraft carriers fly? The Gravemaker didn't seem happy, so Amaru shook her head. Then why the hell is Anchor Vanshin the only one equipped with airborne technology while the escorts and muscles aircraft carriers aren't? It takes a buzzard half an hour to return to her carrier on the Fire Eastern Coast to replenish, and another half hour to come back to Konoha, giving Konoha a reprieve. The Sky Special Jonin Kunoichi could only shake her head and say, I don't know. There's nothing we can do about it right now, sir. Orochi 1, along with the other dragons, landed. Shingen stepped out of the transport, and when his right leg touched the ground, the earth rose up and formed a temporary prosthetic leg under the Iwa general's left knee. Yes, we can, he replied. His 343 juggernauts, including his 12 jonins, disembarked and followed him. Are you familiar with earth release, lightweight rock technique?
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.